we know today that official medicine is have just a few toxic treatments. For example, for cancer we have chemo and radiation, which we know that is 98% of patients who get chemo or radiation die.
That's right.
So now we are going into natural medicine, which is very effective. And 100 years ago, we could buy cannabis oil in any pharmacy.
Yeah.
And today is banned. So we are going to. But which countries have?
Well, I'm not sure if I can answer that right now. It's just one country after another legalizing.
Okay.
Right now, I think there's 21 states in America now that have legalized it, and I would expect within the next year and a half to 2 years, every state in the union will be legalized. Canada has legalized the medicinal use years ago, to some extent. They're still not happy with the oil. Czech Republic, Romania, I believe, just legalized. China is looking at legalizing it and using it. There's countries everywhere now, all through South America. Many countries down there are interested. So this is going to be the new face of medicine, and it's going to happen in the near future.
In North Korea was never banned.
Yes. North Korea.
It is treated by like any other herb.
Well, they actually encourage, from what I understand, the government there encourages their public to smoke cannabis because it's much better for you than cigarettes.
Yeah. So, can you please tell us, Dr. Hanush, about the research you were involved in Israel, and about you mentioned hundreds of children cured from cancer by using of medical by cannabis.
No, I am originally from Czechoslovakia, what is today Czech Republic, and I started work on cannabis research in 1970. It was already famous research at this Palacký University in Olomouc, because in 1950 Professor Krejci started hunting for antibiotic principle in higher plants and found that cannabis is a very active plant against gram-positive microorganisms and against some pathogenic microorganisms. And they started use it in medicine. Already in 1954 was in Olomouc at the university conference Cannabis as Medicine. They use it in many different clinics just to check possibility of cannabis, and found that it's very good medicine. I was working over there from 1970 to 1990, and all 20 years I prepared cannabis extracts for drugstore in the hospital, and they use it for patients for treatment. What I remember at that time, it was not such known these possibilities of cannabis, but concerning antibiotic principle, they successfully use it against virus herpes simplex, virus zoster, and then bed sores when patient is long time in the bed. So it's
locally.
So it's really very unpleasant. So it can be treated very good with cannabis. So I was working 20 years over there, and I was in contact with Professor Meshulam from Hebrew University. And when what happened in November 1989, so it opened me door, because next year in February he invited me, and in September 1990 I was already in Jerusalem at Hebrew University. The target was, because was already known active compounds in this plant, cannabis sativa. One American, William Devane, which was also invited to Hebrew University, discovered in the brain cannabinoid receptors, where binds these compounds from cannabis. I can explain it just for anybody very easily. Receptors in the brain or in the body, these are like lock, and compound which is entering these receptors, this is like key, and when key enters this lock, so start all processes which we can see when somebody uses cannabis. So Professor Meshulam from Hebrew University was sure that receptors are not in the brain because of to wait when somebody smokes cannabis. So he told me that the target is to find natural ligands which bind to these receptors. So I had invitation for 1 year. It was not enough, but after 1.5 years, I succeeded to isolate this anandamide in cooperation, of course, with molecular pharmacologist William Twain, which discovered these receptors because he had very nice bioassay. So each fraction we were supposed to check if it's active. So after 1.5 years, we came to this. And you asked me for children.
Yes.
I wanted just only
Introduction.
entrance to this.
Yes.
It is used worldwide officially as medicine only as palliative medicine. It means that patient stays without symptoms of disease even if disease continues. But even like that, if it's only like that, it's already fantastic because it's pleasant for patient, he feels like healthy, it's pleasant for his family, for his friends, so it really helps him very much. And if some patients are in terminal stage of disease, so to come to the other world is for them much more pleasant because they are living this world like human cats and not crippled by medicine which doesn't help them and only make them problems. So in Jerusalem they tried to, because it's known that after chemotherapy patient is vomiting, is nausea, doesn't have appetite. So they found that cannabis, and it's known that it helps very good. And they tried it on children with cancer, because the children are very sensitive, and you know this what is used with adults. For children it's even harder to overcome all this process. So they use tetrahydrocannabinol, and in at least 80% children felt very good. So in Israel they use it for 100 of young patients with very good success.
Thank you.
I simply can tell you that other medicine cannot compete with cannabis. It's not 100% because I say every time, it doesn't treat every time, it doesn't treat everybody, it doesn't treat every disease, and it doesn't treat every stage of disease.
Yes.
This I don't want to say something bad about cannabis, but we must know that it's not panacea, that it doesn't treat 100%, but percentage which tries is such high that no other medicine can compete with cannabis.
Thank you.
I don't like to interrupt here, but you had asked me a question about autism.
Yes.
And we have had great success with autism with children. I consider the use of the oil perfectly safe for children, you know, of all ages. As a matter of fact, the healthiest babies born on our planet are born to mothers in Jamaica who use hemp a great deal. So if it doesn't harm a baby in the developmental stages in the womb, I think it's safe for people of all ages.
Thank you.